What's up, guys? Welcome to gwhisky. My name is Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and if you stick around to the end, I'll be giving it a score as well. If that sounds interesting, hit subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our review? Today, we're looking at the Glen Grant 12-year-old Unchill Filtered. Stick around. So we're looking at another Glen Grant today. I recently reviewed the non-age stated Cask Haven, and that one really surprised me. I wasn't expecting much from it, and I ended up giving it like 87 or something. Really good, and because of that, my interest in the brand has been kind of reignited recently. So I figured, let's try out the 12-year-old. It is worth noting this is not the regular 12-year-old though. This one is the non-chill filtered version, and in terms of like bottle design, it looks almost identical to the regular 12. If I were them, I'd probably try and give it a more distinctive label, but whatever. This should be the same recipe as the regular 12, just this is going to be like the integrity version of it. And while I do think that the integrity version should just be the standard version of it, it's still nice that we have a bottle like this that's available to us. This is a travel retail exclusive, which is odd. It's odd that the more naturally presented version of this is the travel retail one, because traditionally the travel retail options are the lesser offerings from a distillery, but I guess our bottle here kind of flips that idea on its head. There's not a lot of info out there on this one. It's bourbon cask matured and it's released in 2016. Now, Glen Grant doesn't have the best reputation. I don't think they have a bad reputation. It's just, generally speaking, they're a pretty under the radar distillery. They're definitely not like a cool brand, but they do have potential, and they have a character that I think a lot of Highland fans can get behind. It's a Speyside whiskey, I do realize that, but it's closest in character to a lot of those bright, clean Highland whiskeys that I'm a big fan of. I really like that style. And again, I really like that Cask Haven I had not too long ago. So off the back of that, I did want to try more Glen Grants. The 12 was the next go-to, so let's see how it fares. Let's jump into our review, see what our whiskey's all about, and in the meantime, if you could kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So this is the integrity version of the regular 12, so it should give us everything we want here. We have a 48% ABV, which is very generous. Of course, it's going to be non-chill filtered, as the name suggests. I do believe this to be naturally colored, although that was kind of hard to confirm. There's not a lot of info out there on this bottle. If I'm wrong, let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, for now, we're looking at 3 out of 3, so well done. So I do like these new Glen Grant bottles. I think it's a good look. They came out a few years back in like 2016. I like the small label. I like the printed on details down here, the writing. Nothing outstanding, but a solid look. I'm going to give it maybe 4 out of 5. Of course, it does say non-chill filter, but it doesn't tell us that it's natural color. I only found like 1 or 2 websites online that said it is naturally colored. I'm not sure if that's correct. Of course, I would know if they actually put it on the label. Aside from that, pretty bare bones in terms of information. There's really not a lot here for us to know or learn about the whiskey, but it looks nice. I did add a drop of water here. Let's try our nose. Fresh. Apples, pears, orchard vibe from this for sure. There's vanilla, there's cinnamon, there's some white pepper, there's some like sweet pickled ginger in here. We have cinnamon on toast with some brown sugar sprinkled on top. We have like a floral honey note to this. This is bright and fresh, like a lot of younger Glen Grants are. Let's try our palate. Okay, nice hit of pepper and honey here. It's not too sweet. We definitely have a nice extra punchiness from that added ABV. I'm getting like oatmeal in milk, like porridge from this. Maybe some apple pie, some peach cobbler. I'm getting nuts in here like almonds or pistachios. A little bit like what you'll find in some Turkish sweets, those Turkish desserts like kadayif or baklava. And now our finish. Okay, so some nice oak and drying spices come in here. Definitely much more of that white pepper. Those Turkish desserts again. Some milk chocolate. This is medium in length, but it's got a nice restrained sweetness. So this is another solid Glen Grant. We have the classic bright house style that we've come to expect from them. We have lots of orchard fruit, again, very bright, clean flavors here. And I like that the sweetness here is a little bit restrained. I like that there's some like bitter elements in here that hold back a lot of the sweeter notes. And this one also has a good amount of weight to it. Obviously, the added ABV, the lack of chill filtration, they give it a much more punchy character. It's a lot more assertive than the standard 12, which obviously isn't surprising, is to be expected, but I don't know, like this really should just be the standard 12. And you know, I'm not going to start preaching about ABVs and chill filtration. All of that's basically common sense at this point. I will just say this is a better whiskey than the standard 12. I do like the standard 12. It's good, it's not great. This one is better. Of course, it is going to boil down to availability, but if you have access to the regular 12 and this one, of course you got to go with this one. Now, if we're comparing this one to the one I reviewed recently, the Cask Haven, that makes for a lot more of an interesting comparison. Where I live specifically, this and the Cask Haven are about the same price, although I know that's not the case everywhere. I checked some of the online retailers and the Cask Haven is quite substantially more expensive than this one. Between the two, this one is going to have more layers to it. I was very charmed by the Cask Haven, but I'll admit it's not an especially like complex whiskey. And I realize this sounds kind of snobby, but once you reach a certain level of maturity in your whiskey journey, complexity becomes less important. It isn't always an indicator of quality. It can be, it often is, but it's not necessary. More complexity does not a better whiskey make. And while I think the Cask Haven was a simpler whiskey, I preferred it. And you know, not by much. It actually has quite a few similar elements to the Cask Haven. It's also very bright and clean. This one does have more oak influence though, so we're going to have more of a drying, spicy flavor profile here. And that works. It's a good pour. It's an enjoyable whiskey. But I will say that the problem I have with this one is a problem I have with many younger Glen Grants, in that I don't find it to be very memorable. It's a kind of whiskey I'll enjoy every sip, I'll finish it, and then I'll move on with my life. I won't look back on it. I won't spend time thinking about it. I won't even feel the urge to revisit it. What I'm often left with is the impression that I had a nice experience with Glen Grant, but ultimately it's kind of forgettable. That is the case here. It's not doing anything wrong, but it needs to stand out more. I'm not sure that I would be able to identify this one if I was doing like a blind tasting or like a lineup tasting, something like that. It needs more distinctive features. So my score here is going to be 85. I think it's good. You've definitely had these flavors before. It's not like super exciting. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just like, it's solid. And that's all it really needs to be. Also, the added ABV, you know, it does give it that extra kick, which is great. Overall, I mean, it's good. It works. So if you like Glen Grant, you're probably going to like this one. It's going to have a lot of the flavors you'd expect. It is a little bit more ballsy thanks to that natural presentation. It's easygoing. It's crisp. I can't imagine anyone being really put off by this one. It's a good one. It's worth trying for sure. Pretty good value here, as is often the case with younger Glen Grants, and it doesn't hurt that this one comes in a generous 1 liter bottle size. Price-wise, it's about on par with most other entry-level 12-year-old whiskeys, but again, you have that extra 300 mils on top, so not bad. So if the flavors in here sound interesting, I am going to recommend you grab a bottle of this. Like I said, even if it doesn't blow you away, and it probably won't, you're still going to enjoy it. It's quality stuff. Okay, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe. Always appreciated. I do want to hear from you. Have you tried our Glen Grant 12 Unchill Filtered? How does it compare to the rest of the line? How does it compare to the regular 12-year-old? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, in the comments, you can let me know what you want to see me review next. I'll keep that in mind for my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.